I remember my first day of shooting for the second season. It was the moment when Sonja and Jiyeon finally met and had a conversation. It was my first day, and I remember I was quite nervous, and the conversation between Jiyeon and Sonja was quite intense, and I was still figuring out how to melt my time jump, like the period of time into my characters. So, and that was my day one to test my, those preparation. So I remember that, and my last day of shooting was. Oh, I remember it was in Korea, and there's a scene where Hansu leads all the kids to fly the kite. That was our last scene, and it was in June in Korea. And I remember that the day was very hot, and yeah, it was full of laughter. And I remember I couldn't realize that it was the last day of our shooting. So I was like, "Is it done? Are we done?" And like, did it wrap? And like, I couldn't realize it, and then I went back to my home. And then, yeah, I remember. I have a vivid memories of both of my first day and last day of shooting.
First, when I read the script, I thought maybe the Sonja role is 74 or something like that. At the time, I was 74 exactly. So, well, it's suitable for my age, and then, even in my real life, I can look back now, everything. So that's okay, I can do it. That's first my impression about reading script. And then, because I'm my age, myself is just looking back all the time. So that's, for me, it's no problem. I read the script and I read the novel, and then I can feel, or I can express Sonja with my face and with my voice. So it wasn't difficult. Sonja, young Sonja must be hard.
Almost every single scenes was very remarkable and very memorable. But for today, it's just like, every single day is just different. But for today, I remember that the scene where Sonja, Kyunghee, Yangjin packs the baggage for Noah for his travel. That was very powerful because it also connected to the scenes for the first season where Yangjin packed my things, Sonja's thing. And that was my first emotions that I felt while I was packing the stuff. The very first emotions popped up in my mind, and I didn't expect that. We shot it for a very short time, we were running out of time, so it was very powerful. That remains in my mind for quite a long time. And the most challenging scenes, and I still remember, is that when Noah told me that he's not going to the college, and then we kind of like have an argument about that. That was the scene that was the most challenging ever, because I could not think of any ways to persuade him. Should I be angry with him, or should I feel sorry for him, or what should I do? I couldn't figure out. So I remember I talked with the director, Sang-il Lee, about like, what is it? Like, I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to handle him, but the answers that Sang-il gave me was that that's how we raise a kid. We don't know the answer. That's how it is so hard. So I remember after that scene, after I finished shooting that scene, I was so depressed because I still couldn't figure out what to do, and like, it was so devastating. And like, he's not listening to me. He's so stubborn, and like, yeah, I remember. I still remember that day. It was a very hard day.
There's a scene that so many moments in different episodes. Episode 2, when these spoilers, right? Episode 2, when Isak and Sonja are reunited. Dear Lord, that scene. All of episode 5, incredible. Episode 6, the breakup scene that Naomi and Solomon have, I think, was one of the harder days, but not because it was, only because we wanted to get it right. We were all so invested in making sure that that conversation felt real and it felt like the audience would track it and follow it and believe it, because it was such a delicate balance of trying to juggle their real organic feelings for each other and the relationship they developed versus, quite literally, the society's norms and expectations of that time and of that place. But the scene I wanted to talk about that I think is incredible is towards the very end, episode 7 or 8, I can't remember. Sanja and Noah go to the tofu house in the market nearby, and the conversation that they have, the two of them alone, is like crushing to me. It's so heartbreaking and uplifting, but dear Lord, yeah, I love that scene so much without giving away more.
Every scene was difficult because Suyu gave me the Japanese line. I don't speak a word of Japanese, so I need to memorize it phonetically. That was very, very difficult. And then put the meaning in Korean, and then it was, I
would say this is, I think what people don't understand sometimes who aren't in the TV making is all the scenes that we don't shoot that are written. And whether you don't shoot them because of schedule or budget or location logistics, and the actors learn these scenes, right? So there are scenes that they've learned that we've rehearsed, that we've maybe even gone to, and then all of a sudden it's like, you know what, we can't do that, so we need to cut it. And there's this part of you that's always like, the what if that scene had been there. You get over it, you obviously stop grieving, but this is a time period when I was like, I wonder if I wish we could have shot that. We've watched this family grow up, right, for 2 seasons now. Over now 40 years. I feel like the thing I want to see in season 3 is I want to see the present and the past finally meet, because that was always the architecture of the show, is when do they finally collide?
Honestly, I really don't know. I cannot anticipate anything, but I think that's the beauty of our life journey. You don't know what's going to happen. Like even in 1 hour later, you don't know what's going on. So, but after the last episode of the 2nd season, the scene where Sanja finally lied down and closed her eyes, and she felt very tired. It was her almost first time for her to feel exhausted. It's the meaning of losing her hope and losing her motivation for her to carry on her and move on her life. But hopefully, so I think, personally, I hope that if season 3 comes out, maybe it could be the stories about herself finding another hope and how to deal with illuminating her light again and find her own way to stand up and carry on with her family and trying to continue on her journey.
It's exciting because kind of what you were saying, in season 2 you start to see we're introducing more characters that have shown up in the other timelines. So we're seeing like Goto-san showing up as a young man in the earlier timeline, but we met him briefly in season 1, or vice versa, characters that Kyung-hee, for example. It breaks my heart because in season 1 we see her as an older woman with dying with with Sanja next to her, having lived this entire life. I mean, really, when I think about Kyung-hee, it also breaks my heart. Even though she got to live a beautifully storied, long life, mostly healthy life, knowing how and having already seen how she goes, yearning for Korea, yearning to, she's like, I see all these faces. And then we get to see her actual life as it's going. It's like a time-space continuum warp because I'm experiencing all of Kyung-hee somehow at the same time. Yeah.
내가 할아버지는 맨날 내가 날아다녔으면 좋겠다 하셨대. 이 세상이 정말로 얼마나 넓은지 보라고.
기억나? 그때는 우리가 얼마나 행복했는지.
14년입니다. 나를 왜 찾으십니까?
놓친 적이 없으니까. 곧 폭격이 있을 거야. 미국 놈들이 여길 다 불바다로 만들 거라고. 네가 아는 모든 게 다 사라질 거야. 그게 무슨 말인지 안다고 생각하지? 넌 몰라. 난 알아도.
So, you must be really desperate. With only 3 months left in my bank account, you could say you're looking at someone with nothing to lose.
네가 누군지는 잊지 말해. 그럴 수 있지?
俺はいつまでもくすぶってるつもりはない。自分で方法を見つけるけどいいんだね。
自分の立場を貫いて、あれにはとっても勇気づけられました。
여기 네 앞에 얼마나 많은 기회들이 있는지 네가 몰라서 그러는 거야.